Hello and welcome everyone. It's Jessica Riverson here, and this is another How She Did It interview. I have Nicole D here. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
How are you? Did I say your last name correctly?
Close. DeAndrea.
So it's actually like Andrea, DeAndrea. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Like all this time, like, wow, maybe I was saying it wrong. So Nicole DeAndrea is here. We're super excited, and we're going to talk to you about some of the good, bad, and the ugly of the success that you've had with growing your online coaching business very quickly in just the last couple months. So you ready to get started with that?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I love that you're willing to share your story because you're already a successful business owner. Do you want to tell everyone, like, what's the business that you've had and how many years have you had it? And then why did you even like come to me? What was the deal?
Sure. So, well, prior to opening any businesses, I was a longtime yoga instructor. So, I had worked in healthcare prior to that, teaching yoga on the side, and always sort of had this, I guess, nagging feeling that yoga was what I was meant to do. So to fast forward very quickly, I decided to jump ship on my career and become a full-time yoga instructor, and was very happy there, and realized that if this was what I wanted to make my full-time career, I had a couple of choices. I could become like a world famous rock star Instagram yogi, or I could open a studio. So I chose the latter because I really wanted to be in service of my local community. So I opened Blackbird Yoga Studio in Hallworth, New Jersey in 2016. And have been very successful there, just because I think I spent so long in the yoga world kind of learning the do's and the don'ts. And coaching is something that sort of fell into my lap. So because I had a long history in my yoga community, past bosses and studio owners were reaching out to me, asking me questions about how I was able to grow my business so quickly. And I started coaching informally, until I realized I really loved it, and that there really was a need for someone to tell the story that it's not impossible to be profitable as a spiritual business, as a yoga business. So that's when this was all born.
Awesome. Very cool. I love the name of your yoga studio, Blackbird. I think
Hey.
okay. And I mean, I think this is really key, right? So before you started your coaching business and came to me to kind of get that going and get it launched, you already had mastered one business model and one type of business, which I think is super key. What are some of the things from that business you think, like, if there's just anything you could share with the listeners, what are some of the concepts or mindsets that helped you in that business in growing this coaching business? Because we'll get into numbers and results later, but I mean, you've grown the coaching business quickly too. So, like, what is your secret? Because, not everyone is as laser fast as you. So we want to know, what are the mindsets that you took with you?
Yeah. Oh, well, I really like to work, so there's that. But
Hard work.
Loving what you do helps, right? But I think the big secret is having systems, right? Like there is such freedom in having structure in a business. And so I figured that out fairly quickly for my yoga studio. And so I knew that I wanted to set the coaching business up properly. And one of the things that I really have you to thank is showing me what the structure of a successful consulting business or coaching business is, because if it weren't for your model, I probably would have been trying to I would have said yes to everything. I'd be pulling, hour-long sessions here and there just to kind of try to get it going, instead of having a solid offering in place. So I think that, that is the big secret. And being willing to say no also. Being willing to say no to the types of clients that are not right for me or right for the studio is something that I learned in the yoga space a long time ago.
That is huge in coaching, right?
I have learned it in coaching very quickly. Yes.
Yeah, I think people struggle with that, right? It's because we want to be of service. Like, no, I don't know anyone that got into coaching or probably even the business of yoga where they were like, I'm gonna just be a bajillionaire, because that's usually not the mindset. It's like, I really want to help people. I really want to be of service. Yeah, I do want to make a great living, but the first motivation is like helping others, like doing something you feel so good about. You see the difference it makes in other people's lives. And so in coaching, yeah, it's a challenge, right, to learn that. And it's so good that you were able to bring that into this new business, to realize, okay, not everyone is your client, you know. Hard lesson to learn, but not everyone is your client. So yeah, let's talk about what we did together. We made some magic really quickly. So you were actually a VIP client where we got to work together privately, which is super fun. And what do you remember, like, is the first thing that we did that was like really helpful? I know I'm putting you on the spot with
my gosh. I had no business before I met you. It had no structure, no form, no shape. Like, I came to you and I said, this is what I want to do, but I have no idea how to do it. So it wouldn't even exist if it hadn't been for the work together that we've done the last couple of months. But I think the first thing, honestly, was coming up with the soul superpower. That's the thing that really kind of stands out in my mind as the first aha moment that I had with you. And mine was that I cut through fear. And I think that fear is something that stands in the way of a lot of business people, but particularly people who have an existing business, right? Who know somewhere deep down that they need to make a change, but they're terribly fearful of upsetting other people or making the wrong move and all that. And I think that one of my strengths as a coach is that I can hold space for people to, stand firm in their decisions.
Yes, I love it. And I love even just the clarity with which you just articulated that is amazing. And I love that step in the process. It's so powerful because you want to build your business around your soul superpower. Your business is supposed to serve you and serve others. And I think we can get into a business and we start it and it's all about serving others, and we can create a job when we thought we were creating like a scalable business, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I have a job. We can create a situation where we're almost enslaved to the business, where the business is it's like it can't function if we're not doing every single thing 24/7. So I think that, building it around the superpower is a really important step. Yeah, I love that. I'm glad that, like, that makes me feel good that that's one of your big pieces that you took away. And then we really looked at, just to kind of walk everyone through the process, then we looked at, like, who is your ideal client? Who's your soulmate client, as we call it? And how are you using your soul superpower with them? And then how do we create a signature offering that you can really go big with? I think so many coaches, they create a million little things, like all these different digital courses. Nothing wrong with that. But you were able to scale your business pretty quickly. And one of the things that you and I talked about was when you start with a little bit of a higher end program and serve people really deeply, get them really great results, start building your audience, start building your list, then you can go and offer lower priced digital programs and things like that. It kind of makes sense, but there's stages of a business model. So, I mean, what did you, if you want to share anything from the trenches, like, I mean, what did you learn? Because that was, I don't know if that's what you knew I was going to teach you right off the bat, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to create these digital courses, or I'm going to do this or do that. So what was your thought process? And I mean, were you surprised by the model that we created, or?
Maybe I was surprised that we were going to only focus on this one thing, right? Like I really had no clue how I was going to structure my business at all. So I thought I was just going to kind of offer custom consulting, and that would be that, and take on, like I said, a little bit from here, a little bit from there. I didn't know that I would be developing this one signature program and really only funneling people into that. So, my ideal client, at first I was like, oh, it's a yoga studio owner who's struggling, which I thought sounded pretty specific at the time, right? Turns out it was not specific enough. Yeah.
I'll keep you every time with that one. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I mean, you really were not kidding about finding a niche. Like it's really about a niche within a niche within a niche, I think. But my ideal client is somebody who needs a complete overhaul, not only of the systems within their business, but their way of thinking about their business. And so, I think one of the things that's made this not only really effective for my clients, but doable for me is that I don't take on, a tremendous number of people at any one given time, because of course I don't have to, but because my ideal client really is somebody who wants to do 4 months worth of work on every single aspect of their business. So that's been very comforting to me, and that I don't have to say yes to everybody, but also I think my way of making the biggest impact.
Yeah. So what did you ultimately learn about niching? Like, I mean, you already applied that in your yoga studio.
There's never enough.
I know you know it, but sometimes when you go to apply it to a whole different business, it's like you learn it all over again.
Yeah. So I wasn't afraid of it. Frankly, I was more afraid of niching in the yoga business, because that is a business that relies at least somewhat on volume, right? So but I did it anyway, and it turned out to be very successful. So I wasn't necessarily afraid of it. I just thought that my struggling yoga studio owner avatar was enough.
Yeah.
And there's a particular type of person, I believe, who's meant to work with me.
And the soul tribe concept, right? It's like there's specific people that are going to gravitate towards you, because there's other people that do what you do, and that's okay, because there's a specific group of people meant to work with you. And I think once we start, I kind of have this concept of like being the lighthouse, like you're the lighthouse for that soul group to find you. And when you align with that, it starts to get easier. And then being willing to say no, which I think is a valuable lesson you're teaching all of us, is like really being willing to say no, and, not take clients just because, well, I could help them, or, they really want to work with me and they really want to invest. It's like, that's not enough to say yes, because it's a sacred relationship. It's a serious relationship when you're coaching someone.
Yeah, just like if I just wanted to run businesses, I would have chosen something else, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Businesses.
Right, like these are two difficult businesses, so of course I really believe in what I do, but like this business requires spending real time with people. So yeah. Not only do I want to choose the types of people who are going to get results with my program, but I want to choose the type of people that I communicate well with, right? Like we have hour-long phone calls. There's nothing worse than like being on the phone for an hour with someone that like it's just not jiving in either direction. So it's a personal relationship that I'm building with people, and I think it's really important that we both benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'd like to dig up some dirt here, if you're willing to go with it. I want to talk about the business model a little bit, because I think when we first started, very quickly I showed you how to get discovery sessions. You already actually had people asking you questions and being interested. So then we drilled down on a strategy that you could use on social media to have people like really booking on your calendar, having proper discovery sessions instead of like trying to pick your brain and stuff, like actually having a discovery session. Like I'm charging people now, hello, right? So it's like, you got to book a discovery session. So once like you started having discovery sessions, I think from what I remember is that you've had a lot of private clients, and then we've started looking at like, you got a lot of clients right away, and then that filled up your time. And so we talked about like, okay, so how are we going to create some kind of hybrid where you can still give them your valuable time that's so important, but also like, so I know that a lot of people struggle with that. Like that's one of the hardest parts, is kind of figuring out, how do I help people get these great results while not giving all of my time away? And now I'm like working 24/7. So are there mindset shifts you've been making around that you could share for people that might be in that spot right now?
Sure. So, okay. So before I opened my yoga studio, I have a friend named Erica. She's like a business badass. She owns an eyelash extension business, and she's making like multi-millions of dollars doing eyelashes. And before I opened my yoga studio, I was on the phone with her, and she's like, well, what do you want from this? And I was like, if I can just pay my rent and like buy groceries, I'll be psyched. Like that would be awesome for my yoga studio. And she was like, you're going to want so much more than that. And I was like, I couldn't even like fathom that being the case. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I don't need much. Of course, that wasn't true, right? But I did it again with the consulting business. I was like, well, if I just get like 2 clients a month.
I remember, yeah, I remember you saying that. Like, 2, okay.
Like, if I just get like 2, that would be awesome. And so when I started out, I was like, oh, I'll just do, I'll package the content into an online program so that it'll just kind of keep things moving and the conversation flowing between us. But like, I'm going to do one-on-one phone calls. And of course that lasted for about a month. And I had actually told my original people I was going to speak to them every week.
Oh, wow.
Not only is that completely unnecessary and a drain on my time, but like I found that they weren't moving at the same pace, right? Like it didn't make sense to talk every week because I was giving them so much in the modules that like they couldn't keep up, and it just was a waste of everyone's time. So I have pared it down to, ready?
Yes.
one-on-one call a month.
Sweet.
Call.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I chip away at you. I just chipping and chipping.
I'm a quick, what's the word? I make my mistakes quickly and then I change things.
That's
right?
It. You do. That is very true. Yeah. So this chipping didn't take very long, but I'm saying that because, when I'm working with someone, I can foresee where this is going. And how, because you have a lot of time freedom with the way that your other business is set up. So now you've started this other business. You don't want to lose your time freedom, but you want to serve. You want to help people. You want to help them be successful in their yoga studios. But at the same time, if you lose all your time freedom, what's the point, right?
Totally. I think
you suddenly like have 0 hours in the day.
The real truth is that when I said things like, I just want to pay for my groceries and pay my rent and I just want 2 clients, that's like me setting the bar low for myself so that I can like feel good about it at the end of the day. I can totally do that. But that's, that's not who I am, right? Like I have goals for myself and I'm constantly evolving, right? Like I could have just stayed in my yoga studio and made a perfectly good living from that and not worked any harder at building a new business, but that's not, what I want to be doing with my life. So, so I have lots of aspirations for this, but
what is your vision? Like, what's your vision for the coaching business?
Oh man. Well, I love my studio and I still can't imagine a life without sharing yoga with people.
Yeah.
That's just a deep part of who I am. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it's probably the piece of me that's never gone anywhere in all my moving and evolutions as a human being. So I'll never not teach yoga. And my studio is amazing and I love the community and it's here to stay. However, I imagine this being my full-time gig because I really, really love, like I said, rewriting that story that you can't have both money and a spiritual business.
Yes.
So, I think I'm well on my way to making this my full-time gig. There are personal reasons behind it as well. Like I bought a house with my partner that is over an hour away from the physical location of my yoga studio. So I just can't go there every day and I don't want to, right? And we want to start a family and all kinds of things. So this is the type of business that allows the personal freedom that I need. Yeah.
All things. Cool. Yeah, that is an amazing thing about this type of business is that you can do it from anywhere. You can serve people all over the world. So yeah, let's talk about, so we worked together in the 2 months that you've got this launched. How many clients did you enroll in your program?
11.
11. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yes.
And do we have like a rough estimate of the sales revenue? I know some people might be on payment plans, but like what does 11 clients kind of equate to?
$44,000.
Sweet. In your first couple months.
Yep.
Yes. That is awesome.
Thanks.
This is a good start.
It's an okay start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very grateful, very happy. It is, yes.
Yeah, those are some good numbers there. Amazing, amazing. So, um, let's talk. Like, I think we're all kind of getting to the end here, but we didn't talk about sales, and that's a big piece of what I work with clients on. So, anything you want to share, like any trials, tribulations? I feel like you did a really good job on your sales calls, but like, what did you learn? What really stood out to you?
I learned that I don't need to prove myself on those calls. So I feel like in the beginning, I was like, I need to rattle off as much strategy as I possibly can so that they believe that I know what I'm talking about, and decide that they want to hire me. And one of the things that you taught me that was really valuable is that if you leave them feeling too full, right, they have to like stop and go and digest it instead of leaving them feeling excited for what's to come. So I never would have known that without you. I would have probably just continued on giving away an hour's worth of coaching in the hopes that they decided that they needed more than that, right?
Right.
Hoping is not the strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the sales phone calls, I've evolved my thinking around them a lot. I look at them more as kind of I don't know, a mutual interview, right? Like we're both trying to decide whether or not it's the right fit for us to work together. And I'm just trying to ask them open-ended questions to get them to share as much with me about what's going on. And another thing that I think you helped me with is if I probably would have stayed very surface level if it weren't for our work together. So if they had said something to me along the lines of like, yeah, I need more cash flow in my business, I would have been like, okay, let's get more cash flow in your business. Whereas now I'm asking questions about like, well, what does that really mean? Like, what does that really mean for your life? And, sometimes it's something I can help with. Sometimes it's not. I had a discovery call recently where we started to dig in, and it turned out she was about to be evicted from her home. And I would, so sympathize with her, but I had to send her in someone else's direction because it just wasn't the right move for me. But I think starting to become more comfortable with asking the types of questions about what the financial difficulty really translates to in someone's life has made not only the sales calls easier, but the relationship building easier.
Yeah, totally. And I know you went through sales therapy, and you emailed us a couple recorded discovery sessions that we were able to listen to, and that's always helpful. I have this phrase around, it's for everything, but especially with enrollment calls, it's like fail forward fast.
Yeah.
Like we want you to just get out there and do your enrollment calls and, make the mistakes and let us hear them. Let us talk you through, how each call went, and so that you can become masterful at enrollment calls sooner rather than later, because it makes such a big difference. You're going through the effort to attract your discovery sessions in the first place, which kind of brings me to, I think, the last thing that we'll cover is lead generation. So, what has been your like master thing? Because I know social media and Facebook groups, and I think you've done a really good job. So just if you can share what the power of having your own Facebook group has done, what the power of like being interactive in other groups, having like consistent social media. Because a lot of people, they miss that boat because it takes daily consistent effort. And I want to hear from you, like how that's been.
Okay. So Facebook groups are life. I had no idea until we started working together. But I mean, one of the things I'm really proud of is that I've not spent a single dollar advertising this business.
Well, yeah. So 44,000 in revenue with no ad spend is pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. So, okay. I had been unknowingly kind of laying the groundwork for this business for a long time. So I'm super active in other Facebook groups of yoga studio owners, and I have kind of a strong voice in there. Some people love it and some people don't, but I really have done a good job, even without realizing what I was doing, of positioning myself as an expert in something in this Facebook group, right? So I had sort of a warm audience without even trying and without even really knowing that the reason I was interacting in that group was because I wanted to build a coaching business. I just really like talking.
You were like opinionated and being of service and had something to say about the whole yoga studio.
I refer to it as pissed and passionate.
Yeah, you were pissed and passionate. Exactly.
Yeah, I was
pissed. You were already doing that. I didn't even have to teach you that. You were just already doing it.
No, you did not have to teach me that. Actually, you taught me to calm down a little bit, but I was pissed. I was pissed that so many yoga studio owners were saying things like, my best hope is to break even, or like, at best, I'm going to, buy some groceries with this extra cash while I'm still working a full-time job. And I'm like, you don't have to do that, people, right? Like, it would get me really upset. So I had kind of laid the groundwork in these Facebook groups anyway. And then so when I started my own Facebook group, I had some people who were sort of interested in hearing from me. And I've been able to build that group pretty fast. So we have like 200, who's we? I have 220 people, yoga studio owners in my Facebook group right now, and that's been 100% my main marketing channel.
So let's talk about that, because a lot of times coaches feel like, oh, my group is so small. But when you have 220 people who are there because you have an opinion and something to say about the problem that they're struggling with, you have the solution, they want to hear from you, they like your vibe, they're all exactly, they're exactly your ideal clients pretty much. And so I think I want everyone to really hear this before we close this, is that, so those 11 clients that you've had just in the last couple months, that 44,000 revenue, pretty much are you saying that like majority, almost all of that has come from your group?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes.
So the power of a Facebook group, the power of building a personal brand, the power of being pissed and passionate about what you want to see different in the world. And I see, it's so cool because I love that you feel that way, because that's kind of how I feel with coaches, right? I'm like, coaches, like, I think every coach should be making 6 figures minimum, because it's a professional job, like being a doctor or a lawyer or anything else. And you deserve to make a great living, and then some if you want, from coaching. So I get how you feel with the yoga studio owners. It's like, I feel the same way about coaches and healers and other spiritual type of businesses, that, there's no reason why, you should be struggling and, can't pay the bills and stuff like that. And at the same time, it's a business that requires really understanding how to run it. It's like my tutoring business, when I was doing the tutoring business and then switched to coaching, I was in for a rude awakening, because with the tutoring, it was like, oh, your kid has an F in math. Great. We have a tutor. Like, it wasn't hard to market it. You put some signs out, you put some advertising out, and people would just call our business line. And when I started coaching, it was a little different, because it's like I had to educate people, which is what you've done through your social media and your posting. Not every yoga studio owner is waking up going, gee, I think I need to find a yoga studio owner business coach. They're not. But like with my tutoring example, parents were waking up going, man, hon, we really got to find a math tutor. So it's a very different kind of, coaching can be a really different type of business, where our clients aren't waking up or going on the internet trying to find us. Like, when you need a plumber, you're going to go online, you're going to find a plumber. This is very different. It requires relationship marketing, educational marketing, and that's what you did. And I think, and you did it well.
Thanks. Yeah, I just had a call this week where I got on the phone with someone, and actually she had already bought in, but we had to get the husband on the phone call too. So I had to teach him what I do, right? And I could tell that in the beginning of the phone call, he was very skeptical, like, what is that? Like, what is a coach? What could you possibly do that we're not already doing? And I had to educate him on exactly what a coach is and exactly what I was going to do for them and not do for them.
Right.
And so there definitely is an education component to what I do. But one of the best compliments I've gotten so far is somebody said, I wasn't even thinking about hiring a coach until I saw until I saw your post. And then, good job with the marketing. I was like, oh, thank you.
That's a really good point, right? I mean, that illustrates my point exactly, that people aren't thinking about hiring, not even if we're just not even talking about business coaches, a life coach, a relationship coach. A lot of times that's not in someone's mind to be going and looking for that service. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why I can really help people is like showing them, like, you've got to create a brand, a message, and then be visible with it. So I love that you're sharing the success of your group, because it just goes to show that with a small group, you don't need a lot of people, but you need the right people. You got to attract and call in the right people, share an authentic, powerful message that lands well for them, get on the phone, and if you can help them, show them how you can help them, and they're probably going to say, oh my God, I've been looking for this. Yeah. Like, not even actually they've been looking, but like deep down, they've been like wishing they could find this solution. They didn't even know it existed.
Yep. And I think it's really powerful when people realize that, I'm specifically coaching yoga studios, which is something that I sort of struggled with in the beginning. I was like, should I take on other types of businesses? And should I, and I think it's really compelling when they know that, there's someone who's been there, right? Like, who's actually been in the trenches having the same difficulties that they're having, but that I'm truly only focused on their types of problems, right? Because they might not wake up in the morning thinking that I need a coach, but they wake up in the morning thinking, I have a big problem, like this business is draining me, or I'm losing money, right? Like that they know. So when you can clearly articulate that you can solve that problem, it's sort of a no-brainer to get on the phone.
Yeah. And I think that's what I spend a lot of time on, is helping people articulate the value, because if you're going to charge 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 or more, being able to articulate the value is huge. So with your group, so is your program a hybrid now? They've got some private. Okay, awesome. So it's scalable now. So every time you bring on a new client, it's only taking 1 hour of your private time per month. So now you could actually enroll like 8 people in 1 month, and that produces 8 hours of sessions, not too crazy. And then you have your group call every other week. So you now have a totally scalable model. And so I know there's more on the horizon. So I hope to have you come back, because after we do the how she did it, what do we call our next interview? Where is she now? Yeah, we'll have you back for a where is she now interview.
Oh man.
Because now you got the foundation. Now with the business model you have now, you can scale to, you could even scale to 100K months. You could scale to 50K months. Like it's available. You might have to get some more team members, but it's like you've got the foundation and you can scale in every different way that you'd like to. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you and how many people you're helping, because I believe yoga studio owners should definitely be able to have a great, healthy living that they're making, because they're providing such an amazing, wonderful service for other people to de-stress and, be more mindful. And they deserve to have that too for themselves, and they deserve to be profitable. And I'm just so happy that you've created this, and you're helping other conscious business owners out there actually become more conscious.
Yeah.
And help more people. We can't help anyone if we don't put that air mask on ourselves first, right? So I think you're doing beautiful work. It's definitely very similar to what I believe in. So it's been so much fun to work with you. You're an amazing woman. You've been an amazing client. You're a go-getter. I love that. And you implement fast. And yeah, no, you are like star student. And I just think that, it speaks a lot to the type of person that you are. And you just faced things head on. And I'm just so happy. It's been fun.
Thank you. I never, ever could have done it without you. I am so grateful that you landed in my stratosphere somehow.
Facebook, right?
Facebook, yes, Facebook, the power of Facebook connections. But really, thank you. I never would be sitting here without you.
You are so welcome. And I can't wait to have you back in the future and see what's going on in your life at that time. So thank you everyone for listening. If you need support in growing your coaching business, go ahead and join our Facebook group, the Feminine CEO Community, if you're not already in there. And go ahead and email us, support@jessicariverson.com, if you would like to get a complimentary business analysis on what's going on in your business. Where are you struggling? Why are you struggling? How can we switch your business model? How can we get you into a place where you can actually scale, actually grow, run a successful coaching business, probably less than 25 hours a week, and have amazing numbers and some of the awesome things that Nicole shared. If that's what you're looking for in this next coming year to really grow and rise up, then please email us. We'll give you an application and a way to book on our calendar. So that's support@jessicariverson.com, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, everyone.